What is up, guys? I haven't made a video on this YouTube channel in over like 2 years, and I kind of just want to talk about sports now. I did a couple of like 2K stuff, mock drafts, whatever, but today I'm going to talk about the NCAA tournament, which I'm very excited for. I am a Wisconsin fan. I live in Wisconsin, born and raised. I'm a diehard Wisconsin guy. Wasn't too happy about that Big Ten championship game. Whatever. It's rough, but I'm here to tell you though that there is a method to the madness. All right. Now I'm not telling you you're gonna have a perfect bracket, and I'm not gonna have a perfect bracket. Like there's no guarantee that this is gonna help you out because it's March. Anything can happen, really. You can only predict so much, but what I'm here to tell you is that 60% of the time, this is gonna work every time. I'll give you one prime example. 2022 is about 3 years ago. Well, it was 3 years ago. I picked Kansas to win it all because I saw which way America was going. I'm pretty sure it was like Gonzaga was the clear favorite. I forgot who else was in there. I think Kansas was like the third or fourth most picked team to win it all, but they were like equally likely to Gonzaga to win it all. So in my head, I'm like, well, most of America is gonna pick Gonzaga to win, but in reality, they had the same chance as Kansas. So like, if I pick Kansas, I'm gonna have a major competitive advantage over like everybody in America. And like it sounds simple, and it kind of is. Like, sure, they only have like what, a 15, 16% chance to win it all, but it's the same as Gonzaga. I mean, in reality, most of America's gonna get it wrong too. So you just gotta go with it. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. I'll show you exactly what I'm getting at here. This is what I want to call the method to the madness. This is how the key, the secret to winning your bracket pool, okay? So, first things first, you need to understand the scoring system. The earlier rounds are not worth as much. Unless you have a bracket pool where your upsets are like seed weighted or whatever, like a 14 seed beating a 3 seed, you pick that game right, you get more points for it or whatever. This video is not for you then. All right, if that's how your bracket pool works, this video is probably not for you. But for like 90% of you guys that probably don't have weird bracket scoring systems like that, this is what you want, okay? You got to understand one thing and one thing only. The national champion, you pick this right, it's worth the same amount as getting every game in the round of 64 correct. You need to have your national champion. That's the number one tip that I'm going to tell you. You pick your national champion first, okay? That is the first thing you do when you're filling out your bracket. You need to go find your national champion. And how do you do that? Well, this is how you're going to tell. This is how you're going to find it. You have to know one thing first. The winner is going to be a 1 seed, okay? Look, I know UConn won 2 years ago. They were a 4 seed. They weren't your average 4 seed, all right? Almost every year outside of that season, it's been a 1 seed. And this is how America is selecting these number 1 seeds, okay? Duke is the clear favorite. Then it's Florida. Then it's Auburn and Houston, kind of on the down low. But look at Houston, only 8.7%. Florida is getting a little overpicked, so is Duke, okay? What you want to know, you want to go away from that top 46% of America. What they're thinking is good. These aren't bad selections by any means. These are good choices to win the tournament. But if you want to stick out and have a better bracket than most of America, you have to go the other direction. So this is what I'm saying. You have to find the outlier of the teams that are actually really have a chance to win. And looking at their actual win percentage of the tournament, well, Houston stands out quite a bit, don't they? You go back and you look at what Houston's win percentage was, it was 8.7%. America was picking to win 8.7% of the time. Auburn is about the same, maybe a little bit higher. Duke and Florida are considerably lower than what America was actually picking them at. But Houston is much, much higher. This is a massive leverage play, and this is what it's going to help you win your bracket pool. So here I have the bracket. This is ESPN Tournament Challenge. This is what a lot of people probably use. I don't know what you use, but this is what I use. So we want our champion to be Houston, right? That's what we went over in the last segment of this video. What you're going to do, you advance them all the way through. They are your national champion, okay? That's what we want. What you also want to do, you take every 1 seed, every 1 through 3 seed, and just advance them, okay? I'm not here to tell you how to fill out your bracket, but what I'm here to tell you, how to optimize it, okay? You can pick all the upsets you want, But I'm telling you, you don't want to try to predict any of these ones because look, you're gonna get it wrong. Okay, you're not gonna be able to predict the 3 seed losing to a 14 seed, 2 seed losing to a 15 seed. Like, yes, it can happen. It can very easily happen. All right. But the odds of you guessing the correct one are very low. You want to optimize your chances here of getting the most points possible in your bracket pool, okay? Next thing's next. Who was the second best chance? It was Auburn, okay? I'm gonna advance Auburn to the national championship game, all right? Auburn was the third least picked team, but they had the second best chances to win it all, or third best, whatever. Florida, but so I'm gonna have Auburn versus Houston in the national championship. This is like what America isn't thinking as much. This is what you want to go for. This is my tip. You can do whatever you want. You can, as long as you have Houston as your national champion, this is all that really matters, in my opinion. You can click off this video right now if that's all you needed, okay? These are just the tips that I can tell you. I have a couple more things that I'm going to get at here. So you have to understand your region, all right? Where you're from. Let me give you one example here. If you live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, or close to Ann Arbor, Michigan, Michigan is going to get overpicked, all right? They're going to get advanced to the Sweet 16, maybe even to the Elite 8, more often than not. If you live in that area, you should probably bounce Michigan earlier, right? So maybe even in the first round, because it's a pretty good chance they do lose in the first round, okay? But let me tell you this. I live in Wisconsin, okay? All of my friends are Wisconsin fans, and they just watched Michigan beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten Tournament Championship, all right? So they're going to probably, I'm going to guess that 80% of the guys in my pool are going to pick Michigan to lose this game. So I'm going to pick them to go to the Sweet 16 because I know that most of the guys in my pool aren't going to be doing that. So that if it does happen, which honestly, it's more likely that it happens than it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, then I get to reap the rewards of it. And they all get to lose all those points, while I'm the only one in my pool getting all of those points. The same thing goes for the teams in your pool. Like I said, I live in Wisconsin. I'm going to bounce Wisconsin in the second round, okay? Let's just say BYU, all right? I'm going to bounce them in the second round. Sure, it's kind of unlikely. I'd say there's about a 60% chance that Wisconsin makes it to the Sweet 16, but I'm going to take my 40% chance that they don't because I'm guessing that 80% or more of the guys in my bracket pool are going to be picking Wisconsin to go to the Sweet 16 and maybe even the Elite 8. But that's besides the point. So then you have to think about those region base, and then after the region stuff, you get to America. Most of America thinks that Duke is going to win. All right, I'm not here to tell you should bounce Duke in the second round or even the third round. What I'm here to tell you, you probably shouldn't have them in your Final Four if you want to optimize your bracket. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take all these other games. You can pick any however you want in all these other games. They eventually don't really matter as much, honestly. Okay, the lower round games aren't what you really have to worry about as much. I'm gonna have Duke losing to Bama in the Elite Eight. So I have Houston against Bama in the Final Four, and then I have Auburn on the other side. I know my national champion, and I also know that America likes to pick Florida. So I'm gonna do the same thing with Florida. I'm gonna bounce them early. I'm gonna try to. I don't care who they lose to. I'm gonna go find my team. Maybe it's Texas Tech, St. John's. I like Texas Tech, maybe, so I'll have Texas Tech. We're going to the Final Four. This is all up to you. You can opinionize whatever team you want to make the Final Four over Florida. That's totally fine. As long as you don't have Duke and Florida in your Final Four, you're probably going to be optimizing your bracket. Okay, these are the things you need to be thinking about. All right. And that's pretty much all that I have to tell you. Because, in reality, this is March, man. This is March. You can pick whatever, right? Grand Canyon can go to the Sweet 16 easily, right? I mean, there are many different ways that these brackets can play out, but like I said, the scoring system, these are the four most valuable teams that you need to have. Even if Duke does make it to the national championship, like most of the guys in your pool are going to have that, right? So if that does happen, sure, like, you're probably not going to win. But also, if you pick Duke, how many other people in your bracket pool pick Duke as well? So the odds of you even winning, even if you pick Duke, are also low. So that is the method to the madness. It is not a set in stone, 100% gonna work thing. Like 2023, this would not even have been that good of a bracket. And guess what? It's March. Stuff like that's going to happen. Like I said, 60% of the time, this is going to work every time. 2022, it worked to perfection. Last year, wouldn't have worked so well. The year that Baylor won, it worked to perfection. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It's not going to be perfect. All right, just understand that. You don't even have to pick Houston. Like, yes, they're the best option, but if you want to pick Auburn, maybe you want to pick St. John's. I mean, those are still good picks. As long as it's not Duke or Florida, you're probably going to be in a pretty good spot. Okay, so that is all that I really wanted you guys to get out of that. 3 weeks from now, I could look very dumb or very smart. That's what March is all about, and I'm all here for it. Please come back and grill me if I'm very wrong. I would love to see that. Um, I'm not here to tell you that Houston is guaranteed to win. I'm just telling you that it's the most optimal pick, okay? It's that simple. So that's really all that I have to say. Have a good one. Adios.